Hey guys, welcome back to Revealing Biblical Truths. In this video we'll be going through the book of Deuteronomy, chapters 22 through 28. Before we get started, go ahead and like the video, subscribe, share, and comment down below, or this centipede will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. In chapter 22, Yah lays out several commands which pertain to loving your neighbor. The first is that if your ox or your ass goes missing and you find it, you should give it back to him. If you don't know who it belongs to, bring it home and wait for someone to ask for it back. The same thing applies to anything that is your neighbor's. In verse 5 it says that a woman should not wear men's clothes, and men shouldn't wear women's clothes, as it is an abomination, something Yahuwah hates. It then continues to list off several commands that we should follow. When you come upon a bird's nest, you can take the eggs or the baby birds, but don't take the mother, let her go. When you build a house, you should build a fence or a wall on the roof, so that no one falls down from the roof. Don't sow different kinds of seeds in the same field, as it defiles the field. Don't plow a field with an ox and a donkey together. Don't wear wool and linen together in the same garment. There is a scientific aspect to this command as well. It is known that both wool and linen have a resonant frequency of 5,000 Hz, which are both healing to the body. However, when these two fabrics are mixed together, the frequencies cancel each other out and you are left with zero. Making tzitzits on the four quarters of your garments, as you should do. If a man takes a wife and then has intercourse but finds out she is not a virgin, then the parents of the woman can take proof of her virginity to the elders, and if she was a virgin, then he shall give 100 shekels of silver to the father, and then marry the woman, and cannot divorce her forever. But if it is found that the woman was not a virgin, then take her to the father's house, and then outside the city, and stone her, because she played the whore. If a man is found lying with a married woman, then both of them shall die. If a virgin is betrothed to a man, but then they lie with each other, then they both shall be stoned because she did not cry out. But if he rapes her, and she does cry out, only he should be stoned. But if a man finds an unmarried woman and lies with her, and they are found, then the man shall pay her father 50 shekels and marry her, and cannot divorce her forever. A man shall not take his father's wife, or uncover his father's skirt. In chapter 23 it goes on and lists more commands. If a man has been injured in his privates, or had his privates cut off, he cannot enter into the congregation. A bastard shall not enter either, one who is illegitimate. Neither can a Moabite or Ammonite enter. Don't hate the Edomite, for he is your brother, or the Egyptian, and they can enter because they were strangers in their land. If any man is unclean, he should go outside the camp and wash himself, and then be clean, and when the sun goes down he could re-enter the camp again. When you have to go to the restroom, you should go outside the camp and go, and then cover it back up with dirt. If you find an escaped servant, let him stay with you, or wherever he chooses, and don't oppress him. Don't bring a whore into your house. When you lend something to your brother, don't charge him interest. To a stranger you can charge interest, though. When you make a vow to Yahuwah, keep those vows. When you come into your neighbor's vineyard, you can eat what you want, but don't take any to put in a vessel, as that is stealing. Use only for your current hunger. The same thing goes for a cornfield. You can eat the corn, but don't cut it down to take more. In chapter 24, it goes over the laws on marriage. When a man has discovered uncleanness in his wife, he may divorce her, and it requires him to send a letter to her and send her out of his house. She can then go marry another man and be his wife. But if that man dies or divorces her, then the first husband cannot take that wife back, as it is an abomination. This has prophetic meaning in terms of Yahuwah's people, Yasharel. Yahuwah was the husband of Yasharel, but he divorced her in Hosea. But then he came back into a fleshly body as Yahusha, so that he could die and then remarry his bride Yasharel. When a man takes a new wife, he cannot go to war or do any long-term business or travel, and he must stay with his wife for a complete year in order to make his wife happy. This also has prophetic meaning. After the first 6,000 years of humans on earth, the last 1,000 years will be a millennial reign, where Yahusha will reign upon the earth. He will marry his bride and spend 1 year with her, as 1 year to him is 1,000 years to us. After this 1,000-year reign, or the honeymoon period with his bride, he will go out to war in the battle of Armageddon, or Har-Megiddo, to destroy Satan once and for all. In verse 7, it says that kidnapping is a sin and punishable by death. Do not oppress the hired servant, but pay him fairly. In verse 16, it says an important law and principle. The father shall not bear the sin of the son, and the son shall not bear the sin of the father. Each man bears his own burden and put to death. When you harvest your grain or any other crop, do not go back and fetch the remnant or the corners of the field, but leave them for the stranger, the widows, and the orphans. In chapter 25, it goes over the situation where two people have had a controversy and have taken the matter to the judges. When the judgment is pronounced and the wicked is sentenced, they should be beaten with 40 stripes, but no more. This has prophetic meaning, as there is a prophecy concerning Yahusha in Isaiah 53, verse 5. But he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement for our peace was upon him, and by his stripes we are healed. In verse 5, there is an important law given. If there are two brothers and one of them dies childless, then the brother should take his widow and become her husband, so he can provide her with children and raise up seed for his brother. And that firstborn should continue the name of his deceased father. But if the brother doesn't want to go to have the woman as his wife, she has the right to take the matter to the elders, and they will ask him about it. If he confirms this, then the widow takes off his brother's shoe, spits in his face, and says, "So shall it be done unto the man that will not build up his brother's house." When the two men are in a fight, and the wife of one of them gets in the middle of the fight, if she grabs the other man in the balls, then you shall cut off her hand. You should have just weights and measures, and be equal to everyone. In chapter 26, he goes over the laws on tithing. You are to bring the first fruits of the yield for the first 3 years on the day of first fruits, and give it to the Levite, the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow. This also goes along with jubilees, and that we are not to eat of the fruit of the land until the 4th year, and in the 6th year it will produce double, because in the 7th year we are to plant nothing in the field and let the land rest, also called the Shemitah year. In the chapter 27, Moshe commanded them to take stones and plaster them, and then write the law on them, so that when they pass over them, they will remember to keep the commandments. He divided the tribes into 6 tribes each, and each grouping he put on one of the 2 mountains, on Mount Gerizim for the blessings, and Mount Ebal for the curses. Then he said, "These will be cursed if they do these things: makes any graven image, burns his parents, removes his neighbor's landmark, makes the blind to wander, perverts judgment, lies with his father's wife or any animal, or his sister, or his niece, or his stepdaughter, or his mother-in-law, kills his neighbor secretly, takes a bribe to kill an innocent person, or doesn't agree to do all these things. Blessed are the ones who do this. They will be blessed in the fruit of their body, the ground, the livestock. He will take out all their enemies. He will rain on their land, and he will bless the work of their hands." He then lists out more curses for those who don't keep the commandments. They will be cursed in these ways: from the fruit of their body, the fruit of their land, livestock, pestilence, fever, inflammation, mildew, war. It will fall against their enemies. They will receive the plagues of Egypt, madness, blindness. Their wives will be slain by another man. Their house they built won't be able to be lived in. They won't eat of their own vineyard. Their animals will be taken from them. Their children will be taken from them. Sores, locusts, and they will be scattered from one end of the earth to the other. It is very interesting that these things did happen to both kingdoms of Israel after they fell into idolatry and sin. And that is the end of this video. Next time on Revealing Biblical Truths, we will wrap up the book of Deuteronomy. Thanks for watching, and until next time, Shalom.